Alright, 1, 2, 3.
Hello folks, I'm Michael with BC Shaver and Hobbies, and this is the Traxxas 4Tech 2.0 Mustang and 3.0 Corvette. The original Traxxas 4Tech was introduced in 1998, and it was the company's first foray into the world of on-road RC touring cars. It was later replaced by the 4Tech 2.0, which had some major design changes that made it more versatile and brought it up to the high standards of the rest of the Traxxas lineup. The 4Tech 2.0 is still available today, and it's still a great on-road car, but now it has competition from Traxxas itself. The upgraded 4Tech 3.0 has just been released, and it gives the 2.0 a run for its money. Now, it's important to note that the 3.0 is not an entirely new car. Many of the components, including the drivetrain and suspension, are still identical to the 2.0. However, it has some important differences as well, and in this review we're going to go over the advantages and disadvantages of each version, as well as an evaluation of the 4Tech platform as a whole. Our 4Tech 2.0 came with a 2015 Ford Mustang body. It looks reasonably scaled, but doesn't have much detail, and it's all Lexan with no hard plastic parts. The windows, lights, grille, door handles, and other details are all just stickers, and some parts, like the bumper lip and rear diffuser, are body colored where they should be black on the real Mustang. There's also a very noticeable antenna hole in the roof. The Mustang body is available in two colors. The blue looks similar to Ford's Grabber Blue color, which was available on the real 2015 Mustang, but the orange isn't a close match for any real Ford paint color. The 4Tech 2.0 is also available with a Ford GT supercar body, which you can have in red or blue. Despite all this, the Mustang body doesn't look bad by any means, and the lack of hard plastic details does help keep the cost and weight down. It's mounted with body clips like most other 1/10 scale road cars. The wheels are also the same standard size as other 1/10 scale road cars, although the rear tires are wider than the front. They do have scale brake pads and discs built into the hubs, which is a nice touch, and the discs actually rotate. The first thing you'll notice about the 4Tech 3.0 is that it's quite a bit larger than the 2.0. Although both are marketed as 1/10 scale vehicles, the 3.0 has a significantly longer wheelbase, and it's slightly wider as well. The only body currently available on the 3.0 is this 2020 Corvette C8, although other body options will be available soon. This is a superb looking scale body, and it really shows how far Traxxas has come in the years since the 2.0 was introduced. The detail is fantastic, and the paint is a very close match for the real Corvette's red mist metallic color. It's also available in blue and black, both of which are metallic colors that are also available on the real Corvette, as well as a limited production silver edition. There are lots of hard plastic detail parts, and unlike the 2.0, this one has side mirrors. The windows are still opaque, but you do get this really cool transparent engine cover, with a scale engine underneath. The lights are clear plastic, and they have light buckets to accept an LED light kit. This body uses the same clip-in mounting system as the TRX-4 Bronco, so there are no visible body clips on the outside. The Corvette only has 2 clips instead of 4, located under the front and rear bumpers. It's a bit more of a reach to get at the rear one than it is on the Bronco, but it's still very easy. The front lip is attached to the frame instead of the body, so if you hit something you won't damage the Lexan. The wheels are also new, and they're a larger diameter than standard 1/10 scale road car wheels, although they're mounted with the same 12mm hex. Like the 2.0, they have scale brake pads and discs behind them, and they're a good representation of the real Corvette C8 wheels. Under the hood, it's much harder to tell the two cars apart. Both use shaft-driven all-wheel drive systems with open differentials and fully independent suspension. The 3.0 has a longer chassis plate, but the drivetrain, electronics, and suspension are all identical between the two cars. The extra width of the 3.0 comes from the wheels only. Both cars use a Titan 12-turn brushed motor and an XL5 speed control, which is standard in most brushed Traxxas vehicles. The 2.0 is also available with a Valinian brushless system, although that version doesn't come with a body. The stock brushed electronics in both cars can run on a 7-cell nickel metal hydride battery or a 2-cell LiPo. Both cars use the same hinged battery hold-down arm as the TRX-4, which can be flipped over to take a slightly larger battery. The 3.0 fills in the extra length in the battery tray with this foam block. Despite having identical suspension, the 3.0 has more ground clearance thanks to its larger wheels. Although both cars use 2.4 GHz radio systems like most other modern RC cars, one strange quirk of the 2.0 is that it has this very long floppy antenna wire, which the 3.0 doesn't. There is a plastic antenna tube included which goes up through the hole in the roof, but I really don't like the way those look, so I just tucked the antenna down here to keep it out of the way, and it seemed to work fine. Despite the different antenna, both of these cars use the same basic Traxxas TQ receiver. However, the Ford GT version of the 2.0 comes with a TQI receiver that features Traxxas stability management, an adjustable driver assist feature that automatically countersteers to help control the car at high speed. One thing to consider when choosing which one of these to buy is whether you plan on customizing your car. The Fortec 2.0 uses the same 256mm wheelbase and 200mm width as almost all other 1/10 scale on-road cars, which means that it will fit bodies from other manufacturers, including HPI, Tamiya, Kyosho, and any others you can find. Right now, the only bodies that will fit on the 3.0 are the ones Traxxas makes specifically for it, and while you can put standard size wheels on it, they'll look a bit too small for the scale of the car. As of now, until Traxxas releases more option parts, there's really not much that you can visually customize about the 3.0. This isn't a problem if you want to keep it looking like a stock Corvette, but if you do want to change the look, you might have to wait a while. What you can do right away, however, is install a brushless motor or any other internal upgrades you want to make. Since the chassis is mostly the same as the 2.0, any upgrades made for the 2.0 should also fit the 3.0. Before we move on, I should mention the price. The 3.0 goes for $450 Canadian, while the 2.0 is slightly cheaper at $410. Anyway, enough talk, we're going to take these cars out and see how they drive. Now since these are brushed motors, they won't be crazy fast. They should top out around 30 miles an hour, which is enough to have some fun with. For this test, we're going to run them on Traxxas 5800 mAh 2S LiPo batteries.
What is it?
Despite being mechanically identical, these two cars handle very differently. The Mustang feels like a typical all-wheel drive road car on relatively hard tires. It slides easily, sometimes a little too easily, and if you go hard into a corner you'll get both understeer and oversteer in abundance. Drifting is easy enough once you get a feel for it, although it doesn't hold a long slide as easily as some other cars. The Corvette, on the other hand, drives like a completely different car. Its tires are slightly softer and grippier, and if you go into a corner too fast, you'll get heaps of understeer and nothing else. It's extremely difficult to get the back end to slide out at all, and even when it does, it won't let you hold a slide for long. To its credit, it is very predictable, and if you're not experienced with slippery cars, this one will be much less likely to get away from you.
I must alter the course to win.
It seems like the Mustang accelerates quicker, but its top speed might be a little bit lower.
Which is not accurate.
No.
It should be.
The Corvette should probably also handle, I don't know, Mustangs are pretty slippery. But the thing is, they're both all-wheel drive, so they're not really going to behave like the real thing anyway. Oh, there you go. That'd be an interesting game where you set up a racetrack and then as you bonk the cones around, you have to race around the new arrangement or wherever they land. It didn't really strike me as sluggish and such. It's quick in a straight line. But it's really hard to get it to turn sharply or to slide. It just wants to push understeer. Oops. Yeah, it's fine. It just popped it loose. But yeah, it just understeers so much. I think these tires are much grippier than the other ones. Mm-hmm. And the weight balance might be different too.
Yeah, it might be the gear ratio. Might be a little different.
It's possible.
In a straight line, the Mustang has a slight speed advantage, most likely because the Corvette is weighed down by all the hard plastic details. As the tires started to wear down, the handling of the two cars gradually became more similar to each other, but still, in many ways, these two cars feel like polar opposites. I now understand why Traxxas is continuing to sell the Fortec 2.0 alongside the new 3.0. The 2.0 is fast, lively, and exciting, as well as being compatible with most other 1/10 scale car bodies. It's definitely the better choice if performance is a priority, and it would be a fun car to modify as well. The 3.0 is more focused on scale realism, and its very non-sporty handling encourages you to slow down and just enjoy cruising around. Battery life was excellent on both cars. We drove them for about 45 minutes on 5800 mAh LiPo batteries, and we still had plenty of charge left at the end. Regardless of the differences, we had a great time with both cars, and it's clear that Traxxas has another winner on their hands with the new Fortec 3.0. I'm glad that both of these cars are available for the varying tastes of the RC market, and as good as the 3.0 is, I do hope the 2.0 sticks around for a while longer, because it still has a lot to offer. Well folks, that about wraps up our review of the Traxxas Fortec 2.0 and 3.0. Both versions have their pros and cons, but whichever one you choose, you'll be getting one of the best scale on-road RC car platforms on the market and a slick-looking scale body to go along with it. To get your Fortec, visit us at BC Shaver and Hobbies or online at bchobbies.com. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Michael, and I will see you next time.